Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jacob Lynch, partner at BHX.
Hello. Good evening. How about BHASe Summit Day 2? Y'all having a good time? Hope you had some fun. Hope you got some good info, some good content today. Got to have some golf or tennis, some fun. Normally when I come to these sort of events, I usually greet, typical fashion, say my name, whatever. I thought this one, it might be better if I said shalom. But after I've spoken with my partners, some friends, I was advised that vos titzuk was more appropriate. So who said you can't teach an old Gentile new tricks, right? So we're at the launch of something very special here. This is an inaugural year for BHASe, and we've got over 500 attendees here. So I appreciate all of you making the effort, making the time to come. We hope you will again next year. We're really excited about it, and it really underscores and shows the importance, the need for collaboration, for cooperation in this field. First and foremost, I want to thank Hershey Kroner and his team of dedicated professionals. They've done a great job putting this on. Very happy, very thankful. It's been a great success. We hope it'll be even better next year. The reason we chose to partner with Hershey, obviously, is we have a shared vision, right? We want to create something, an environment that facilitates deals getting done. Deals get done here. That's what we want to be a part of. You're involved in that because all of you are decision makers, and we appreciate you being here. You influence all those deals and are able to transact them. We're happy to have you. So we've recently launched an M&A advisory and consulting firm called Behavioral Health Exchange, BHX, focused exclusively on behavioral health. Our goal is to maximize value for clients like yourselves. In that company, myself, I'm a founding partner along with Dove Berman, some other partners and teammates that are here. Please reach out to us, get in touch with us. We'd love to talk to you more about it. We bring a unique blend of some operational experience and expertise along with M&A experience and a finance background, and we'd love to help you maximize value, add value to your business with those skills. I won't go into too much detail. We could talk afterward if you're interested, but we're here to be a resource for you. We know there's not a lot of options for the assistance, the attention, the advice, the value that you need in this space, and we exist to bring that. We're here to offer you, whether you're looking to grow, looking to buy, looking to sell, looking to get answers about something, or any operational efficiencies. That's what we're here to help you with, and we'd love the opportunity to talk to you more about it. Along with that, we've also recently launched and are using an exchange, a marketplace sort of similar to the MLS for real estate, where everybody can list their deals, and we're hoping to create a bit of parity, transparency, compile some data there, and be able to make it a much more efficient market in this field. If you want to talk more about it, it's ever evolving and changing. It's going to continue to grow, but we'd love to talk to you more about it if you're interested. With that, I won't take any more of your time. Please reach out to us, but I'd like to bring up Joe from Aaliyah Health Group, who's tonight's dinner sponsor, and have him introduce our speaker for the evening. Thank you. Have a good one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Ilkus from Aaliyah Health Group. And since you all remember that kid in school who recited the Gettysburg Address by heart, well, that's not me, so I have some prepared remarks. So on behalf of Aaliyah Health Group, I would like to welcome you to the 2023 Behavioral Health Summit for Executives, the premier event bringing together corporate and strategic leaders of behavioral health treatment centers, private equity sources, bankers, brokers, and transactional vendors. Thank you for coming down to Miami and for taking time to attend this Alia-sponsored gala dinner. I would like to express my personal gratitude to Honey Hertzka, and Joel Strulowitz for their visionary insight into the unmet demand for exceptional behavioral health treatment centers in the field of substance use disorder. And finally, I would like to thank you all for being involved in helping save lives in this oft-forgotten industry, behavioral health and addiction. Alia Health Group, through its nationwide treatment centers at Footprints to Recovery, Vogue Recovery, Royal Life Centers, and South Coast Behavioral Health, provides evidence-based, innovative treatment for addiction and co-occurring mental health disorders. As we all know, substance use disorder is an all too common in the U.S. today. According to the Cleveland Clinic, over 20 million people in the U.S. have at least one substance use disorder. Around 20% of the people in the U.S. who have mental illness, such as depression or anxiety, also have the substance abuse problem. Here's another foreboding statistic. People with substance use disorder are 6 times more likely to have at least one suicide attempt during their lifetime than those without. While mental illness is the first risk factor for suicide, substance abuse also holds hidden risk of suicide as well. Using substances not only influences a person's likelihood for suicide, but it also can be a means for suicide. Let me give you another number, 106,699. I'll say that number again, 106,699. That's the drug overdose death rate for 2021. You can fill Dolphin Stadium 1.5 times with the number of OD deaths just for that 1 year alone. And that's how many lives could have been affected if they had had the appropriate and timely intervention by some of the very folks sitting here today. Thank you. We are in the business of putting together people suffering from addiction and mental health issues, and trained professionals whose main focus in life is to help those who would otherwise be suffering in silence or worse. With overdoses on the rise, it only heightens the importance of what we're all doing here. The main goal of this summit is to connect the right people to continue this important conversation about mental health and addiction. At Alia Health Group, we are diligently working to stay in the forefront of the business, from dynamic co-occurring treatment programs to utilizing robust outcomes measurement tools. The behavioral health industry is changing with breakneck speeds, and so must we. Our mission, as should be yours, is to align the interests of all of our behavioral health stakeholders by improving outcomes, health equity, treatment value, and above all, patient care. In a few minutes, we will have a Q&A between Nick Kratzer, Alia's Director of Business Development, and famed comedian Craig Ferguson. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the renowned comedian, actor, and host extraordinaire. With an illustrious career spanning decades, Mr. Ferguson has conquered both the small and big screens with his famous or infamous quick wit and undeniable charm. As the host of The Late Late Show, he graced late-night television for years with his irreverent humor and unforgettable interviews. From best-selling author to award-winning stand-up performer, Craig's accomplishments are as diverse as they are remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incomparable Craig Ferguson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner. If I may have your attention for a moment, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Craig Ferguson, which is, I'm going to point it out, it's not a Jewish name, but I am Mishpucha, so I want you to relax. It's all right. I cannot believe as I walk in, a guy comes over to me and says, Mark's my brother, my business manager's brother is right over there, so things are going to be all right. How's Newark? Is Newark all right? Yeah, we'll do a photograph. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to talk to you briefly about recovery and addiction, which is what I'm honored to be asked to come here and do that tonight. Those of you who don't know me, I work on television sometimes. Actually, I was asked to to make sure that I did not cuss at all while I was up here at the podium. And I'm not going to cuss. I wasn't going to anyway, but people were like, please don't cuss, don't cuss. And I think I am going to talk for just a short period of time. It's going to feel like I cussed, but I'm not going to cuss. The reason it's going to feel like I cussed is because I have an accent, and also I've had to grow a mustache for a job I'm doing next month. And I didn't know how long it was going to take me to grow a mustache, so I thought I would start early, and now I'm scared to shave it off. I don't normally have a mustache. I know there's a lot of very well-bearded gentlemen here this evening who are inwardly mocking my mustache right now. And to you, I am inwardly cussing. So listen, let me tell you a little bit about me because it fits into what's going on here tonight. When I was a young man in my 20s, I drank a great deal and took a lot of drugs. And it was destroying my life and destroying my relationships with everyone around me, with my family, in my profession. And on the 18th of February 1992, I had my last drink and drug. So I've been sober for 31 years. Thank you. Now, so obviously, you know, you're thinking, Craig, oh, you must have gotten sober when you were like 10 years old. No. That's just the mustache that makes me look younger than I am. So most of my life has been spent as someone in recovery, not as someone who is making the flamboyant and very obvious mistakes of active addiction and active alcoholism. Now, I know the focus of this conference is very much about recovery with a view to business. And I think that that's interesting. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to be here. Because when you have either a boss who's in recovery or an employee or someone who works for you in recovery, I think, and I have that in my life, I think it's an advantage. Because what you have is someone who, particularly in early recovery, they're driven and full of shame. So that's great. You can get people to work hard. But also, what I think it is, there's kind of a myth that goes around about recovery, especially for those of you who are lucky enough to not know much about addiction, which I don't really think there are that many people. Like, if you don't know who the addict or alcoholic is in your social circle, it's probably because it's you. There's a lot of it around, is what I'm saying. But what you have when you have a sober person working for you is you have someone who is in flux, I think, who's ready to grow, who's adapting, and also someone who is sensitive and very susceptible to compliments. So, if you have a sober person working for you, if you're just really nice to them, you could probably save a little money, is what I'm saying. It's very misunderstood about alcoholism, which is my flavor of addiction. Is kind of misunderstood. A lot of people say, just stop drinking. Just put it down and stop drinking. Use some willpower. Now, willpower's got nothing to do with alcoholism. If you need willpower, you need willpower to be a drinking alcoholic. Sometimes in Scotland on a Sunday, when you need to get whiskey and all the bars and pubs are closed because it's a Sunday, you need ingenuity, stick-to-itiveness, and willpower to get yourself to what you need. I didn't drink alcohol, and I'm not in recovery now, or I don't, describe myself as an alcoholic because I drink. I don't. I haven't had a drink since 1992. I don't drink alcohol. But what I have is alcoholism. I think it's a type of person. I think it's a type of person, and I think it's a disease. And I think it's a disease which, if approached the right way, is very treatable. And actually, the treatment can make you a better person than you were before you got it. I don't speak for any group or any organization. I don't have that power, and I don't have that ability, but I can tell you about myself. The fact that I can draw a line down my life between being sober and not. You know, everything that came in my life that is of any value, my family, any money or career success or anything, all came after I got sober. So sobriety is eminently to be wished. But what happens, I think, when you have someone, and the frustrating thing, I think when you're dealing with someone, and I still do deal with people who can't seem to understand that if they stop drinking or using drugs, their life will get better. And you want to tell them that, people you love maybe, or people you just like, and you can't understand why they can't do it, is because they can't see it. It's not, they call it, in recovery circles, they call it denial. You know, you've got denial. I think denial is the wrong word for it. I think it's delusion. Because every alcoholic and every addict that I've ever met, and there may be some sitting here tonight, will always try and frame it or try and tell you that their case is different. My case is different. No, you don't understand. It's different for me because of where I am, or my family, or the way I was brought up, or my background, or my foot size, or what I do. I'm different. And I think what you have to, if you want to help anyone in your life who has that problem, is maybe try and crack that and let them know that they're not different. Or maybe, even if they are different, they won't know until they stop taking the drug or the drink. Now, the problem about the drug and the drink is this. You can't just stop and start to feel better. A lot of the reason why they call it recovery, I think, is because you got to do something after you stop drinking. Some people maybe Tetris. I don't think that's it. I think you have to do something which is, and I know there's a lot of people of faith here, and actually I think that's good, because it's usually a spiritual solution. It certainly helps. So if you have a strong faith-based background, it can only help. It can't hurt you. And I would point you to your communities and to your, it's really about love and understanding. It's like everything else. The problem, though, with alcoholics of my type, my father was a foreman in the post office, and he always said, you don't need to fire alcoholics, they fire themselves. And that's usually true. If you want to hang on to them, you have to help them get better. But sometimes, I think, sometimes you have to let them know the lay of the land. I was lucky enough to have people in my life who said to me, I love you, but I'm not going to subscribe to this. I'm not going to help you to continue to do this to yourself. So you are fired, or you are left, or you are on your own with this. And sometimes that's the only solution, is to get the addict or the alcoholic to understand the severity of their condition. The one thing I would say to you as well is there is no, to my mind, there's no magic bullet for this. There's no one size fits all. People are different. But the ones that can adapt, the ones that can change, survive. And what you're basically asking an alcoholic or an addict in your employ, or of yourself if you have that problem, is that you're going to have to ask them to change. But, you know, in that Darwinian, I don't know how many people are fans of Darwin here, I don't know enough about it, but I know that, look, I don't want to get into any of that. What I'm saying is Darwin's theory, it was the survival of the fittest. I don't believe that. I believe it is the survival of those who can adapt to change. It's about how can you change? How can you adapt? How can you realize, okay, I've got myself, I'm in this position, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, or I have this person in my life who's an alcoholic and addict. What am I going to have to change to make things better, to make a difference? That's really it. And that's, I think, enough yakking from me. And now there's going to be more yakking from me, but in a different format, which I'm sure is delightful news to everybody. Remember, I don't think I cussed. Did I cuss? I didn't. So well done. Do I look like someone that cusses a lot? Is that kind of like what people say about me? I know most of you probably don't know who I am, but those of you who do, you're like, oh yeah, the cussy man from Scotland. I'm not particularly cussy. I mean, I have to say as well, by the way, where I'm staying here is right next to the golf course, and I don't hear you guys being particularly uncussy out there. So, all right. Shall we, all right. What do we do now? Do I sit down?
I think we sit down.
Okay. I'm going to sit down here so that these people over here can't see me. Hello, sir. What's your name?
How are you, Craig? My name is Nick Kratzer.
Hi, Nick.
Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you again, too.
So, just a couple questions, something
Yes.
light. First of all, I'm a big fan.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you, even if
You're
that's
welcome.
if that's
Don't
a fib.
cuss.
All right, so can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and childhood in Scotland?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very kind of simple working class, blue collar background, in Scotland, where I don't know if you know this about Scotland, but drinking is popular. So it wasn't an alcoholic family, but we were sort of alcoholic. It was a kind of normal background, just a family life, really.
Yeah, just here's a drink earlier on.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it. So how did your experiences growing up shape your sense of humor and comedic style?
I think the way it does for everybody, you listen to the adults around you, you see how they have fun, you listen to what they're laughing at, and you copy them, basically. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is for everybody. Is that soup? Are you guys just finishing your soup? Really? That's it? Do you know the thing in LA now, people are saying they're souping, that's how you lose weight? I'm souping. I didn't think souping was a verb. I didn't think that you could take soup and make it a thing. And now they're going to say, we're in the soup community. A lot of people in the soup community are souping, and we're all having it. It's super.
I can't live on just soup.
No, me neither.
Okay, so what was your favorite moment or segment from your time hosting The Late Late Show?
Usually the paycheck at the end of the month was it was a very nice moment. I think there's too many because I did thousands of hours of that show, but I think the one that stands out for me was it always is talking about when Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa was there, and we dedicated the show to him, and I won the Peabody Award for that, and that I just sort of should have put that in and dropped it in because I got a Peabody Award, which is the most prestigious award in broadcasting. Hold on. And that award is not usually given out to someone who cusses uncontrollably every time they're in a public environment. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was told to watch out for you and to
Yeah,
keep you on
okay.
top. So are there any plans for you to return to late night television? Or
I think a lot of people have got plans for me to return to television. I don't have any plans to return to it. But there are occasionally people, there's some mention of it, but I'm not so sure.
So you've spoken publicly about your struggles with alcoholism. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey to sobriety?
Yeah, I don't struggle with it. I did struggle with it when I was drinking. I think there's a great myth about it that it is, people will still say, oh, do you mind if I drink? And like, I don't mind if you drink. I mind if I drink. I don't struggle with it. I kind of, I talk about it, I'm open about it, I'm happy to come here and mention it to you, but I don't struggle with it. I know what to do. And I think if you know what to do, I think it makes life a lot easier.
Simple problem for complicated people. Right?
Yes, exactly so.
So, how has your sobriety impacted your personal life and relationships?
Well, I wouldn't have a personal life or relationships if I wasn't sober. My kids were born after I got sober. Two of my marriages were after I got sober. One of them was before I got sober. It's a complicated thing. It's, but I think everything in my life is down to being sober. I don't have anything. I would have been dead years ago if it wasn't for that.
I can relate. So, did your struggles with alcoholism impact your career in any way?
Sure, I didn't have a career before I got sober. I don't think it's possible. I quite admire people who can, like, get all messed up and still function. I could never do that. I think I was lucky enough to be unemployable. So, when I was drinking, it was bad enough that it was very obvious. I think there's a myth about alcoholism as well that you either you are or you're not. And I think what people don't understand is that it's something a little like developing a peanut allergy later in life. It can come at you later.
Okay, what was the turning point that made you decide to get sober?
I think it would be, there was too many to really say if there was one in particular. But I think what it was, well, let's see. I was at a point where I couldn't feel okay without having a drink. I wasn't drinking to get drunk. I wasn't drinking to party. I wasn't drinking to have a good time. I was drinking just to feel normal. And when I understood that about myself, and I think that's the thing what I don't think people really understand. I drank to feel normal, not to feel high.
A lot of people don't get that fact.
I know.
So, how do you maintain your sobriety while still working in the entertainment industry?
I put sobriety first, and I think if you put, I think in the same way that if you have something in your life that's more important than work, then you'll be okay. I think you can lose your way if you just think work is the most important thing in the world. I don't know if everybody feels that way, but that's how I feel about it.
I actually agree with that. There's other people that don't. So, all right, what advice would you give to someone that's struggling with addiction right now?
Get help. You put your hand out and ask for help. The business of there are places to go. I don't speak for any organization. I don't have that kind of power, but there's an organization that's very reasonably priced, very near the front of the alphabet that will help you out for nothing.
2 letters, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us about some setbacks that you faced while working towards sobriety, and how have you overcome them?
The setbacks working towards sobriety is if you believe the lies that you tell yourself on the way to being sober. For example, I don't know if any of you has ever been around someone who's saying, "Oh, I need to taper off." Taper off was always a thing, like, I need to taper off, or you have to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, it's not going to work.
Your memoir, American on Purpose,
Yes.
chronicles your journey from Scotland to the United States. What inspired you to write that book?
I could give you millions of reasons why I wrote that book, but I've spent them.
Fair enough.
I haven't spent them. I spent them wisely. I invested them. I put them away. I don't carry them around in cash.
Well, you can't keep it, right?
No.
What advice would you give to your younger self looking back on your entire life and career so far?
Moisturize. Moisturize more often, and I think that would pretty much be it. I don't have it. I mean, I think things are so, I've been so random in the way that I went around show, but there's no kind of one size fits all. There's no trajectory. It doesn't have a corporate structure to it.
It's not
Sorry,
a cookie
was I
cutter
speaking
thing.
too loud?
We'll be quiet, guys. We'll be quiet.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a moment in your career that you consider a defining success?
Defining success. Well, this is it right now. I don't know. I kind of try as much as possible in my life. Like right now, I'll tell you right now. If it was like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or if I was a younger performer or a younger person, all these people that are talking right now, I'd be trying to get them to not talk. But it's up to them. I don't care. You know, it's like, you don't want to listen, I'm not your boss. Fine, don't. And it kind of, the ease that gives a person, I think, is good. It's like, I'm happy to talk, but I don't have to force you into listening to what I have to say.
Well, I'm listening, and I appreciate the banter.
I know you are. I know. By the way, what I did there was passive aggression. That was passive aggression. Unfortunately, it only works if you were listening in the first place. So the problem with passive aggression for those who are like, over the back, is they don't hear me saying it anyway. So I'm sorry for using my passive aggression on the wrong people.
No need for the apologies.
I was raised by a Scottish woman. Passive aggression is what we do.
Couple more questions here. We're breezing
Sure.
right through this. Appreciate you. How do you balance your public persona with your personal life? Like, is there any difference?
Yeah, I don't tell anyone anything. You know, like people that put up all their stuff on social media and stuff like that. I don't do anything like that. Everything I put up there is mostly not true.
And it's up to you to form your own opinion.
Yeah. I'm actually from Jersey. I'm not even Scottish. It's just a thing. It's a whole character I'm working on.
I think the more north you go, because I'm in Bergen County, so I think I'm going to have to start picking up the accent. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your hobbies or passions outside of the entertainment business?
No, I couldn't tell you about them because I don't really have hobbies. I'm not good at hobbies. It's like I can't. I mean, sometimes I think it'd be nice to maybe carve a pigeon out of a piece of wood or something, but I get bored. I like to work and I like to. I spend time with my friends, but I don't know. I always get a little uncomfortable when I'm asked about, you know, what are your hobbies? Do you know when you start looking for a job when you finish school and they say, what are your hobbies? And you have to make them up. Yeah. I still do that. You know, I'm like, I love to golf. Well, I don't mind golfing, but actually, because my room was on the golf course, I thought I wasn't very good at golf, but I was watching you guys, and I'm not bad. I'm not bad.
Can you speak to the importance of humor and laughter in your life?
It's everything. You have to wear it loose, because what else are you gonna do? You know, it's I think as well the magic bullet of life, and this is the thing that you will hear that they will not hear, but I swear this is true. I know this to be true. No matter where you're from or what you struggle with, the magic bullet of life is gratitude.
gratitude. If you can foster or find somehow in your body or in your soul or in your thought some piece of gratitude, sometimes it's very difficult, but it's the magic bullet. It really is. I think that's what it is. And I'm grateful for this.
Likewise. All right. What message would you like to share with those who have supported you throughout your career and personal journey, if they were watching right now?
Well, thank you, I guess. Yeah. Just gratitude. That always. I mean, if you have anything to share with it, if you can. I mean, look, I've done plenty of whining and complaining in my life, but at a certain point, like when I was a young stand-up, I was all like angry and saying things and walking up and down the stage, but I can't do that now. I'm 61 years old and I'm rich. I'm not that angry. I'm not angry about anything. I'm all right. I'm a little, to be honest, I'm a little heavier than I like to be, but that's because I eat too much, and it's my fault.
And not enough golf.
No, enough golf.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions.
Thank you for asking them.
What I took out of this was gratitude and not taking yourself too seriously, so I appreciate it.
That's the key.
Craig Ferguson, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah?